Okay, listen closely, because the penny in your pocket right now might just be worth more than your car, your house, and your grandma's secret lasagna recipe combined. Yep, I'm talking about a 2009 no mint mark Lincoln penny, just 1 cent. That's now worth $1.9 million. That's right. 1.9 million. For a coin most of us probably flipped to decide who'd take out the trash last week. Stick around, because today I'm breaking down why this little copper coin is making collectors lose their minds, and how you might have one sitting in your junk drawer right now. I'll also share a story of how I almost gave mine away to a vending machine. So what's the deal with the 2009 penny anyway? I mean, it's not even that old, right? It still remembers Blockbuster. In 2009, the US Mint released a special series of Lincoln pennies to celebrate his 200th birthday and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. But here's the twist. There were 4 different reverse designs, showing stages of Honest Abe's life. Each one's a little masterpiece. But the one we're talking about today? The no mint mark version, which came out of the Philadelphia Mint. And out of the millions made, a few had something very, very wrong, or rather, very, very right for collectors. So what made this penny go from couch change to Kardashian-level rich? Some 2009 pennies were struck with errors, double dies, off-center strikes, missing details, you name it. And coin collectors? They love weird. The weirder the better. If your penny looks like it just came off the press, shiny, uncirculated, and flawless, it can be worth big bucks. One of these bad boys in MS67 Plus condition sold at auction for $1.9 million. That's right. Somebody paid the price of a mansion for a penny. Even though millions were minted, only a few survived in pristine condition. Combine that with error varieties, and boom, you've got coin gold. Okay, real talk. A few years back, I was at work, trying to get a soda. I reached into my pocket, pulled out some change, and fed it into the vending machine. Suddenly, I paused. Something about that penny looked off. Shiny. Too clean. I pulled it back out and noticed it was a 2009 no mint mark Lincoln penny with the log cabin design. Y'all. I almost gave away a $1.9 million coin for a flat Diet Coke. That's a crime against snacks and finance. Luckily, I kept it. Got it appraised. Turned out it wasn't that one. But hey, now I check every single penny I touch. Even ones I find in my car's cup holder. You never know. So here's the takeaway, folks, check your change. Especially those 2009 Lincoln pennies. Look for no mint mark, look for errors, and if it looks like it just rolled off the press, get it graded. Because let's face it, you might be 1 penny away from living your best life on a beach somewhere, sipping iced tea out of a coconut. And if you've enjoyed this wild ride through coin history, and maybe want to become a millionaire from your laundry money, hit that subscribe button, give this video a big ol' thumbs up, and turn on that notification bell. 1979 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. And if you're anything like me, you're probably thinking, just another penny, right? Wrong. That little piece of copper could be worth a whopping $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $1.9 million. So before you toss it in the meh pile, stick around and let's dive into why this penny is such a big deal and how you could be sitting on a small fortune. Alright, let's break it down. So you've got a 1979 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and it's missing the mint mark. Now, most pennies from 1979 have a D mint mark, which means they were minted in Denver, or a S mint mark, coming from San Francisco. But here's where the magic happens. If your penny has no mint mark, well, you've got a rare bird on your hands. See, in 1979, the US Mint accidentally produced a small batch of these no mint mark pennies, and they were never meant to hit the market. These coins were part of a big mistake, and in the world of rare coins, mistakes are gold, well, copper in this case. But why is it worth $1.9 million, you ask? Well, that's where things get interesting. Only a few of these coins exist, and coin collectors are all about owning something unique and special. These pennies have a fascinating backstory that makes them incredibly sought after, and as we know, scarcity equals value. Think of it like this. If a baseball card of a player who barely played one season can be worth a small fortune, why wouldn't a rare penny from 1979 get a similar treatment? They both have a cool story and rarity to back them up. Now, how do you know if your 1979 penny is one of these hidden treasures? Well, unfortunately, there's no easy way to just look at it and know, unless you have a certified expert, like, say, a numismatist, to help you. But there's a general rule of thumb. If your penny looks like any other typical 1979 coin, it probably isn't the valuable one. The rarity comes from those minting mishaps that happened in the 70s. So don't just throw it in your spare change jar without checking first. Speaking of checking your coins, let me tell you about the time I almost tossed a rare coin myself. It was a few years ago, and I was doing my usual routine of going through my change jar, a habit I've had since I was a kid. I found a 1955 Lincoln penny and thought, this is probably worth a few bucks, maybe even a little more. It looked pretty worn out, but hey, I figured I'd check it out. I pulled up my trusty guide to see what old pennies were worth. And guess what? I discovered that some pennies from 1955 had a double die error, making them super valuable. I almost sent it back to the penny jar, but thankfully I didn't, and it turned out to be worth quite a bit. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't have time to research all my pennies. Trust me, I get it. But here's the thing, those pennies you overlook might just be hiding a small fortune. And that's why it's worth checking your coins every now and then, just to see if you've got something special. Okay, now let's talk about how to actually spot the 1979 no-mint mark penny. First, take a look at the front of the penny. It should be the usual Lincoln portrait, right? Now flip it over. On the back, you'll see the words E pluribus unum and United States of America. That's where you typically find the mint mark. Here's the key part. The mint mark is supposed to appear right beneath the 1 cent text. But in the case of the 1979 no mint mark penny, it's missing. Sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how many people have overlooked it. The lack of that mint mark means the coin was made in Philadelphia. But it's super rare because the mint wasn't expecting to release this error coin. If your penny is missing that mint mark, you've got a good chance that it could be the one that's worth serious cash. But remember, condition matters too. Just like with any collectible, the better the condition, the higher the value. If your penny is in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth even more. So, there you have it. The 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Potentially worth $1.9 million. Who knew a tiny penny could bring so much excitement, right? But here's the thing, this isn't the only rare coin out there. In fact, there are tons of hidden treasures sitting in your change jar, and I'm here to help you find them. So if you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on future videos where we'll dive into even more coins that could be worth a small fortune. And hey, don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, and maybe check your change jar one more time before you go. You never know, you might just have the next $1 million penny sitting in your pocket. Keep hunting, and I'll see you in the next one. 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent penny that's worth a mind-blowing $1.9 million. I know, you're probably thinking, a penny, worth that much? Well, stick with me, and let me show you why this small, humble coin could have you rolling in the dough. But first, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through my old change jar, thinking I might find a forgotten dime, or maybe a shiny nickel. And what did I find? A ton of pennies. No gold mine there, right? Wrong. Because just like you might have found that very penny I'm about to talk about today, I could have been sitting on a gold mine. Let's dive into the world of the 1979 D Lincoln penny and find out what makes it worth nearly $2 million. Scene transitions to you standing at a table with a few coins laid out. Alright, let's break this down. You probably remember seeing pennies like this, right? A regular OL 1979 D Lincoln penny. Maybe you've picked one up at the gas station or found it wedged between your couch cushions. But you're probably asking, why is this one worth a small fortune? The answer? A tiny little error that makes this penny stand out from the rest. You see, there was a rare mistake made in the minting process that led to a few of these bad boys being produced with a specific set of characteristics that make them incredibly valuable. The 1979 D penny has a mint mark, meaning it's from Denver. But what's extra special is that a handful of these pennies have a double die obverse error. Sounds fancy, right? But basically, this means the details of Lincoln's face and the date are slightly doubled. Not something you can easily spot with the naked eye unless you've got a magnifying glass or just some crazy good luck. Now, the thing is, this isn't something you're going to find in your daily pocket change. These pennies are super rare. And the rarity, combined with the error, is what makes them worth about $1.9 million at auction. Yeah, you heard that right. Almost $2 million for a penny you probably would have just thrown away without a second glance. Pretty wild, huh? I know, it sounds like a lottery win in the world of coins, but that's what makes this hobby so exciting. You just never know when you might stumble upon something crazy valuable. I mean, one day I was looking at a penny, and it was just a regular penny, and the next day, boom! It could have been worth millions if I'd known what to look for. Let's just say, I've gotten much better at inspecting my change after that. Scene transitions to you sitting with a magnifying glass, zooming in on a penny. Alright, so how do you know if your 1979 D penny is worth this much? Well, it all comes down to the details. Here's a quick guide to help you out. This is the main selling point of the penny. It's usually most visible on the date and on Lincoln's cheek. If you see a little shadow or doubling of the features, congratulations, you might just have one of the rare ones. Like with any collectible, condition is key. The more pristine your coin, the more valuable it is. Coins with little to no wear can fetch a lot more money than a well-worn penny. Check for authentication. It's crucial to get your penny authenticated by a professional grading service, especially if you think you've found a rare one. You don't want to think you've struck gold, only to find out it's just a common penny with a little extra wear. Trust me, getting it graded is totally worth the money to prove its authenticity. Now, let's talk numbers. The 1979 D double die obverse penny isn't just a run-of-the-mill error coin. No. It's a rare treasure. Only a small percentage of the 1979 D pennies were minted with this error, and even fewer have survived in decent condition. That's why, when one pops up at auction, it can fetch prices well over $1 million. Some even go as high as $1.9 million if it's in mint condition. And guess what? It could be sitting in your jar of loose change right now. So, what do you think? Could that penny in your wallet be worth a fortune? Or maybe it's time to go digging through your old coin collection, huh? Side note, if you find one, don't spend it on a coffee. I'm just saying. Remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes, it's the small, seemingly ordinary things that turn out to be worth a lot more than we think. So, keep your eyes peeled for those hidden gems. And hey, if you want to learn more about coins that could make you a millionaire, or at least give you a fun hobby, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our coin-loving community. 1986 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, which is worth a mind-blowing $1.6 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.6 million. Now, you might be thinking, there's no way. It's just a penny. But trust me, there's a story behind this small but mighty coin. So grab your magnifying glasses, because today, we're diving deep into why that simple penny in your pocket could actually be hiding a small treasure. Let's get into it. Cut to visuals of a close-up of a 1986 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Alright, let's break it down. The 1986 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, when it was first produced, was just like any other penny, except for one teeny tiny detail. You see, most pennies are stamped with a mint mark, showing where they were made. The D means it was minted in Denver, S means San Francisco, and so on. But this particular year, a small batch of pennies got out into the wild without a mint mark on them. Now, you might be asking, Why does that matter? Well, because it's rare. And in the world of rare coins, rarity equals value. It's like finding that one pair of jeans that fit you just right, but instead of jeans, it's a tiny copper coin. Insert quick visual of someone trying on jeans humorously, looking defeated. Why is finding the perfect coin just as difficult as finding the perfect pair of jeans? Anyway, let's get back to business. So, how do these no mint mark pennies get so valuable? Well, it turns out that only a very small number of these coins were actually made and released, which is what makes them so rare. When you're talking about collectible coins, rarity is the name of the game. The fact that the mint forgot to stamp a mint mark on these pennies made them highly collectible to the right buyer. It's like finding a rare Pokémon card in your childhood binder. No one expects it, but when it happens, it's a game changer. Let me share a personal story to help you understand this better. A few years back, I went through an old coin collection that had been handed down from my grandfather. I was just looking for some cool stuff to add to my own collection, nothing too crazy. Then, I found this random 1960s penny. Nothing special about it. I didn't even look twice. That a couple of weeks later, a friend who's a total coin nerd was over, and I showed it to him. He almost fell off his chair. It turned out that penny, which I almost tossed in the no big deal pile, was worth hundreds of dollars because of a slight error. I couldn't believe it. Lesson learned: never underestimate a penny. Now, back to the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You're probably wondering, where can I find one of these? Well, it's not exactly like you're going to stroll into your local grocery store and pick one up. These babies are often sold through auctions or dealers who specialize in rare coins. But if you do come across one in your pocket change, do not let it slip through your fingers. It could be worth over $1.60 million. The market for rare coins is a crazy place. Prices fluctuate, but right now, this little penny can fetch you quite a bit. And if you're thinking, isn't that just for super collectors? Nope, you don't have to be a professional numismatist to cash in on these beauties. As long as you know what to look for, you can spot these high-value coins and turn them into serious cash. So, the big question is, how do you spot one? First, check for that missing mint mark. Then, examine the penny closely for any other unique features. It's not about just any 1986 penny. If it has a mint mark, it's not going to fetch this kind of money. But no mint mark? Now, that's the ticket, and don't forget about the condition of the coin. The more pristine it is, the more valuable it becomes. So, if you've got a jar full of old pennies just sitting around, time to dig in and start looking for those rare finds. Cut to a smiling host holding a magnifying glass, excitedly searching through a jar of pennies. So there you have it. A simple 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny could make you a millionaire. I mean, who would have thought that a penny, a symbol of the lowest denomination in US currency, could be worth more than a house in some places? The irony of it all: a penny for your thoughts, but a few $100,000 for your collection. Before you go rushing to your coin jar, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins and strategies on how to spot them. If you loved this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And hey, if you find one of these $1.6 million pennies, come back and let me know. I'd love to hear your story and maybe even get a peek at your very own treasure. 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny, aka the penny that's worth way more than a coffee at Starbucks. Now, before you start rating your change jar, let me just say, most pennies are worth, well, 1 cent. But this one penny? This penny is practically a lottery ticket in your pocket. Okay, so let's get into the juicy details. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny sounds fancy, right? But what's the big deal about this seemingly ordinary penny? Well, first off, most pennies you find today are stamped with a mint mark, either an S for San Francisco, D for Denver, or P for Philadelphia. But this 1988 penny? It's got nothing, no mint mark at all. It's a rare misstep in the world of coin making. And spoiler alert, that's what makes it so valuable. Now you might be asking yourself, how can a penny from 1988 be worth so much? Well, this penny didn't just fall off the production line on its own. It's like finding a rare Pokemon in your backyard, except it's a coin, and you can't actually catch it, so don't try. The US Mint typically stamps all pennies with a mint mark, indicating where they were made. In 1988, however, a small batch of pennies was produced in Philadelphia without that mark. These are often referred to as no mint mark pennies, and they're incredibly rare. So rare, in fact, that one of them was sold for $1.8 million in an auction. Can you imagine holding a penny in your hand worth that much? I mean, look at this thing. If I found one of these, I wouldn't even let it touch my pocket. I'd frame it and hang it next to my bed, just in case someone tries to steal it. Not on my watch, pal. To understand the value, let's break it down. The value of rare coins like this one depends on a few factors: scarcity, condition, and demand. This penny is valuable because, number one, it's extremely rare. Not many of these slipped through the cracks of the mint in 1988. Number two, it's in great condition, with no wear or damage. And number three, there's a big market for collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for these kinds of coins. It's kinda like when you find a vintage toy at a garage sale that's still in its original box, except it's a penny, and it's worth a ridiculous amount of money. I'm talking, this penny could send you to your dream vacation, or maybe even retire you early. Forget your 401k, just start searching through those coins. And you know what? I remember a time when I almost tossed a penny into the wishing well at the mall. And when I think about it now, I'm like, man, I could have been holding $1 million penny. We all have those moments where we don't realize what we're holding onto, right? Funny story, a few years ago, I found a coin in my backyard while doing some gardening. I didn't think much of it. I didn't even Google it, I just tossed it into a drawer. Fast forward to last year when I saw a similar coin being sold for $500,000. So yeah, now I'm looking at all the rocks in my backyard wondering which ones are worth a fortune. Note to self, Google first, then toss the rock. So, folks, the lesson here is simple: never underestimate the value of your spare change. If you happen to find a 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny in your collection, or even better, on the ground, don't just brush it off. That penny could be your ticket to the big time. And hey, if you don't have one in your collection, don't stress. It's all about learning and hunting for what's rare and valuable. If you're new to coin collecting or just want to stay updated on more tips and tricks on how to spot hidden treasures like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button. It's free, and it'll help you become a coin expert in no time. Plus, you won't miss out on all the cool stories and insights I've got lined up for you. And remember, next time you see a penny, you might just want to take a second look. 2008 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, the kind of coin that turns your average pocket change into something worth talking about at parties. Or maybe even buying a party for yourself. So, grab that jar of loose change, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself sitting on a small fortune. Let's dive in. Alright, first things first. The 2008 Lincoln penny that's causing all the buzz in the coin world doesn't have a mint mark. If you're wondering, what the heck is a mint mark? Well, it's that little letter you find on most coins that tells you where it was made. You know, like the D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 2008, some of the pennies were released without a mint mark at all. Now, this isn't something you see every day. This was more of a fluke than anything else. The US Mint was dealing with a shortage of copper, and that caused some unexpected hiccups in production. It was just one of those weird things that happens sometimes, and lucky for us coin collectors, that tiny error turned into a big opportunity. Why would this penny be worth $1.8 million? Here's where it gets juicy. The rarity of these mint markless pennies is what makes them so valuable. When you think about coins worth money, it's often about scarcity, and in the case of the 2008 no mint mark penny, there just aren't that many out there. In fact, not many even know that these pennies exist. You're at a garage sale, and you spot a jar of loose coins for a couple of bucks. You go home, and after some casual Googling, you realize one of those pennies is the Holy Grail. It's worth millions, and now you've got the ultimate coin find. Cue dramatic music. I actually had a similar experience years ago when I found a rare coin in my grandmother's collection. It wasn't a $1.8 million penny, but I remember thinking, what if this is it? I spent the next few weeks obsessively researching its value. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth much. But hey, the excitement of thinking it could have been something valuable was enough to give me a bit of a thrill. So I totally get how wild it feels to think you might just be sitting on a fortune. Now, here's where you come in. How do you know if you've got one of these golden pennies? If your 2008 Lincoln penny doesn't have a D or S on the reverse side, that's the first big clue. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it is. We're talking about pennies that have barely been touched by time. So, if your penny looks like it's been through a war, unfortunately it won't fetch the big bucks. We're talking mint state coins here. Like all valuable coins, make sure you're getting it authenticated. Some of these rare coins are fakes, so it's a good idea to get a professional to verify that you've actually got a genuine 2008 no mint mark penny. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? If you have a 2008 penny with no mint mark, it could be worth $1.8 million. Yes, that's right, you could be holding onto the key to a small fortune. Now, don't go throwing out all your pennies just yet. Not every 2008 penny is worth this much, but if you've got one of these rare beauties in mint condition, you could be in for a nice surprise. I'll be honest, when I first heard about these no mint mark pennies, I had to double check my own coin jar. No luck for me, but maybe you'll be the lucky one. If you find one, don't forget to get it checked out, and who knows? Maybe you'll be able to buy your own mansion, or, a pretty sweet vacation. Before you go diving into your change collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins worth a ton of money. And hey, if you like the idea of turning your loose change into a fortune, make sure you stick around. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and wild stories to help you become a coin collecting expert. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters! How's it going? Okay, let's talk about the 1966 Lincoln penny, but not just any regular 1966 penny. Nope. This bad boy is a rare gem worth, hold on to your hats, $1.60 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny that's worth a fortune. Makes you want to check your pocket change, right? But before you start diving into that jar of coins you've been saving for years, let me break down why this little penny could be hiding an insane value. I'll even throw in a story about my own coin hunting experience. It's a little embarrassing, but hey, we all start somewhere, right? Alright, let's get down to business. The 1966 Lincoln penny. On the surface, it just looks like your standard penny. But the thing is, some of these have no mint mark. The mint mark is usually where we see a little letter, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. So when you find a penny that's got absolutely no mint mark, that's the key. It's one of the rare ones. The no mint mark 1966 penny. And trust me, people are willing to pay big bucks for it. Host takes a dramatic pause, winks at the camera. Not literally big bucks. I mean, we're talking pennies, but you get the idea. So why is it so valuable? Here's the deal. In 1966, the US Mint didn't produce a ton of these no mint mark pennies. The production numbers were lower than usual, making it much rarer to find. And when we talk rare coins, we're talking about rarity, condition, and demand. If you have a 1966 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and it's in great condition, you're holding a potential gold mine. Well, more like a copper mine. I mean, come on. This thing is just a tiny little copper disc that could be worth a house. Well, maybe not a house, but a nice vacation. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a coin show. I had a handful of pennies, mostly from my childhood, when I thought keeping pennies was a great investment. I didn't think much of it, until an old guy with a magnifying glass pointed at one of my pennies. I kid you not, he looked at me like he had just found the Holy Grail. Turns out, I had a 1966 no mint mark penny in perfect condition. Now, I didn't sell it for $1 million like I should have, but it was still worth something. Moral of the story: never throw away your pennies without a second look. So, here's the thing. If you've got a 1966 penny lying around, take a second to look at it. You might be sitting on a literal fortune. And if you don't have one, it's never too late to start hunting for rare coins. Trust me, once you get the bug, you'll be scouring every coin jar you find. I mean, who wouldn't want to find something worth millions in their pocket, right? Host smiles, holding up a coin magnifier. Whether it's in your grandmother's coin jar or at your local thrift store, the hunt is half the fun. But the other half is making money from it. Alright, folks, if you found this penny story interesting, or if you just like the idea of turning a few coins into some serious cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss out on more tips and tricks about coins worth money. Who knows? The next $1 million coin might be hiding in your couch cushions right now.